Love and light, love and light, love and light, everybody, and welcome to this quick little chit chat video. So, guys, I just got home and I was trying to ask Spirit, right? What is the download that you want me to speak on today? What is the message of the day? Give me the signs, give me the message. And Spirit had me go all the way back to this morning. So I dropped my son off this morning, and these little chicks and a mama hen came right up to me. And I'm the kind of person, when I see animals, when I interact with them. I even talk to plants and trees, and that's just me. I connect with all living things, even nature. And so where I live, there's chickens and chicks and roosters all over the place, right? It's just a tropical area. It's where we live, and that's what we have. A lot of people don't like the chickens. It's like overpopulated. People think they're too noisy, they're too messy, yada, yada, yada. Well, the chickens were here first, right? So I don't mind them. I don't mind animals. I find pleasure in them. I get along with them. Anyway, this morning when I dropped my son off, I said, "Good morning, Mama Hen." She had 6 little chicks, 3 tannish ones and then 3 darker ones. So she was just, waking up, just like all of us mothers were there dropping our kids off to the summer school. This mama hen was up taking her baby chicks around, getting them breakfast, right? Like it is what it is, right? Anyway, I addressed this mama chicken and I'm like, "Good morning. How's your morning going? I see you got all your babies." And literally she came walking right up to me with no hesitation, not nervous, not worried, nothing. No, just came right up to me because she feels my vibration. She feels my energy. And she must feel comfortable and safe to bring not only her, but her 6 baby chicks right behind following me, right? And so I told my son, "Stay still," because, as children are rough, children are wild, children are rambunctious, and a lot of animals not just animals, but younger kids, infants and smaller children around ages 5 to 7. It's a tough age to have them, knowing each other's boundaries and surroundings and just making sure that they function in a safe environment. Me working with children a lot, I've noticed this, However, my son, I've always taught him since before he could walk, to be gentle and calm around these animals. We don't hurt animals. We are here to protect animals, right? All animals. They can't defend themselves. We're supposed to help them thrive in this world. That's, what it is. And so he was still as well, very still, very calm. And this mama hen and her chicks came right up to us, almost grabbed, almost ate. Well, we didn't have food, but almost thought we had food and grabbed something from my son, right? Well, so long story short, then I dropped my son off, and that was that little encounter, and then I go to work. And on my way to work, there are these horses in a pasture grazing. And is it gazing or grazing? I don't know. Eating grass, eating hay. And I've been stopping every single day when I go to see these horses. And at first they weren't used to me, right? Big, massive horses just came kept a distance, but came up to me at first. And I was a little nervous. They were a little unsure. And so for a while they stayed away. For 2 days in the beginning, they stayed away. However, I've been talking with them every day. I've been just visiting with them, and now we're getting comfortable with each other to the point where I'm petting them, and I'm actually getting face to face with these big, massive horses, and they're just so beautiful. And they recognize my car when I drive by. They kind of come and I call them and they walk up to me, and it's just a very beautiful experience to just, spend 15 minutes out of your day with these massive, beautiful, strong, stallions, And so, yeah, so I started my day like that, connecting with the animals that were around me. And today, as I was working, all around me, the birds were chirping. The birds just kept chirping and talking to me, and I would whistle back to them, and I would just communicate with them, and all the little lizards that I seen, and just all the insects and everything. It's just life, and it's so beautiful. And when you really focus in on those small little moments, and you just really put yourself into that insect or into that horse or into that chick or into the mama hen, you really can sympathize and understand. Like, the horses are out there all day in the sun, and as free as they are, they do have the flies on them, and I'm sitting there feeling them, and they must be itchy, but how can they scratch? They've got hooves. These are the things that I think of, right? I think of this mama hen who has all these chicks, and she has to dig up the dirt just to be able to find little bugs and ants for all these 6 chicks to eat. That's her job, is to make sure that they know how to see and dig to be able to thrive and to eat. It's like, it's just in such a grander scale, right? And so all day I'm asking with Spirit, God, what is the message for today? What is the message that you want to deliver, right? What do you need me to speak on, shed light on, get people to understand? Not just people, but myself. What do you want me to understand? And so I finish work and I drive, and I'm driving to get my son now. And on my way to pick him up, I see him outside playing, and I see the same mama hen and her chicks still doing what they're doing, right? And I go to get my son, and, he seems to be in good spirits. He seems to be happy. And I go to pick him up, and I get stopped by one of the leaders there. And I'm not going to dive too much into the situation because it is pointless to me. But the situation, what had happened was my son took some of his little goldfish crackers and dumped them to share with the mama hen. Now, this is what the aide or the teacher or the leader is telling me. And he got in trouble for doing that. Now, this was outside in an open field on grass, but he got in trouble for doing that. And hey, they have their own rules, they have their own regulations, and I understand that. I understand that people have their, she's just following her rules or whatever. Anyway, so it gets me into this mindset where I'm just like, I can truly sympathize with these animals. And in my mind, it was kind of confusing me, where it was like, how do you scold a child? Like, I get it, if you don't want them to play with them. I guess it was like cleanliness and safety, and that they're dirty, or, all these things. And I'm okay, I understand that. And, I will speak with him. But in my mind, I feed the chickens myself. I was just having a conversation with them earlier this morning. Like, so for my son to be able to have that empathy in his heart to understand that these animals are hungry, they're looking for food, this is what they want. And he felt generous enough to take what he had to give to somebody who was less fortunate, to me, spoke volumes that this leader and these aides did not see. Instead, they saw, because my son said that he disliked this person because of the way that she spoke to him, right? And so to me, it was like, okay, I do understand, but you're pointing out a lot of the negative, right? On the flip side, he was the only one that did that. So out of 40, 50, 60 kids, there's one who actually takes the time to stop and think about an animal that's less fortunate. To me, that made my heart so proud of my son, for him to do that when I'm not there. So he's learning these traits from me. Now let's just go back into my personal past history. As a young child, I was the girl in all the group of friends, right? There would be, you know how boys and kids are, but there would be boys trying to catch these stray kittens to put them in boxes or hang them upside down by their tails, or just roughhouse with them. And who would be the one to come and stand up for these kittens and these animals and say, I protest, no, you get away, and save these animals? I was the one who brought home all these stray animals, stray cats, stray dogs, stray rats and mice, you name it. I brought these things home because a part of me knew that they needed saving, they needed safety. I actually, as a young child, I think I was maybe either 7, 8, or 9, between those ages, I brought home a cat. And my mom, you know, we couldn't have pets, but my mom was saying, I told my mom, we can't get rid of her. We can't get rid of her. She says, why not? Why not, Kayla? Why can't we bring her to the Humane Society? I said, because she's pregnant. I did not. Me looking back on that, how am I supposed to know this female cat is expecting? She did not look it. She did not. Months later, she actually was pregnant, you know? And so it's just that intuitiveness, right? I am connected to these animals, not just a certain type, or, you know, I have my favorite. I prefer white animals. I don't know why, but I just love white animals. But anyway, let's not get too far off the message. So my son, as this lady, as this aide, staff member, I don't know what we call them, but as she was explaining this to me, my son, I could see his head was down and he felt as if he was in trouble, because that is her perception of what went on, was it was wrong to do. However, my perception, which I think is more of a I don't want to be a higher vibration, let's just say that, something at a higher vibration. My perception of it was, way to go, son, because what you did, one, shows empathy, but then also shows how in tuned and how pure your heart is, right? Okay, so that ends the situation. Now I'm on the way home, and I'm thinking as I'm driving home how people can look at animals as chickens, right? And label them as dirty, as gross, as nuisances. But I can guarantee you're eating that. So then it kind of took me back, right? And I have been vegan. I've been on a vegan journey, I want to say almost 6 years. I can say 4.5 years strong vegan, no dairy, nothing of animal, no dairy, no cheese, no eggs, no meat, no nothing, plant-based, 100% for 4.5 years. As my son started getting older and seeing other kids eating things and family and all of this, I started adding things in just so that, you know, the balance. It was more of a balance. I didn't want to tell him no if he wanted to try a hot dog, or I didn't want to tell him no if he wanted to try a turkey leg, or, you know, I didn't want to tell him no because I don't ever want to turn him away from food, but I would always explain to him why I choose not to eat that, because he would enjoy it and I would choose not to. And he would ask me, why don't you eat this, Mom? Why don't you like it? And I would say the simple fact of, there are so many other options to eat than to eat an animal. We have so many different varieties of food. We have so many different options. Why would I choose to put death inside of me? Now,
sorry.
Okay, it's all right. Now, 1 second, guys. Back. Now, okay, I had to do the code for him. He has an hour of screen time, so I had to type in the code. I didn't want him to see the code. Anyway, when I started this vegan journey of mine, I was watching all these documentaries on YouTube of the cruelty they would do just to, you know, baby cows, baby pigs, grown cows, snatching cattle away from their mothers, and these animals on their way to end up sacrificing their life for us are in dire need of saving. They're frightened with fear in their eyes, like, and I just want to cry already, because it's like, here we are as people, right, that have hardly no compassion for any of these living creatures, any of these living animals, and we're just so careless to get a hamburger or to you know, and it's just like at our disposal almost. We don't even treat these animals as a sacrifice. We treat them as disposable. And so when I sat here, I just got home and I was rethinking over everything that I've seen today with these animals, and the message just clicked right when I heard the negative outlook of feeding the chickens. And I get it. I get the rules. I get it all. But there's a higher perception, a higher perspective over the situation. And when I sat down and really started diving in, I turned on my YouTube. And I haven't watched one of those animal cruelty, you know, slaughterhouse videos in years. I haven't. But I was a strong advocate to friends and family and everyone around. When I went vegan, I was promoting healthy vegan eating, right? And so when I sat here and I turned on my phone and I just started scrolling through my YouTube, there was this older lady, probably about 55 or 60 years old, beautiful for her age. And she was speaking on her vegan journey, right? And she said when she started years ago, there was only her and a handful of people. There were no internet to connect. There was no way, you know, and people thought she was crazy. And so that really just brings me back into thinking of everything that happened today. And this is the message. This is what Spirit and God wants me to really speak on and relay to you guys. Am I saying go vegan? I mean, if I could tell you that and make you go it and make you turn vegan, I would, because it's not just changing the diet, it's changing your whole perception of what you put in your body. What you eat you are what you eat. Long story short, you are what you eat. And I can say I have not been eating the best myself, but after today and after everything that I experienced, and I'm sorry for getting so emotional, it's just I can feel I'm envisioning like the slaughter and the cows and the pigs. It's deep. I highly suggest, if you even have the slightest urge to maybe cut out some food, some meats, some animal products, spend 10 minutes watching a few of those slaughterhouse videos, or what they have to do behind the scenes to get the milk and to get the steaks and to get the bacon and all of this. Just spend a little while watching that, and you might have a whole eye awakening moment. And if you don't do it for the love of the animals, which is genuinely why we should, then do it for the health benefit of you. Turning vegan has so many health benefits. You recalibrate your insides. Staying on a what is it? I can't think of it, but staying in a vegan diet also helps you fight cancers. It helps you block out sickness in your body. It helps you fight inflammation. Inflammation is the #1 cause of all kinds of leading sicknesses. It helps you add youth to your life. Your skin, the reason why I did it, my skin was breaking out. I'm like, what? My son didn't want to eat any meat. He was only eating pureed, and I made everything organic, fresh, pureed foods when he was first, introducing to foods. And then the doctors and everybody's like, oh, introduce blended up meats and stuff. And I tried, he didn't want it. Do you know how awoken infants are? If we could really step into the life of an infant and see how they operate, they are so in tune. Yes, they might not know the 3D talking, walking, all that, But the intuition and the physicals that's going on inside of them is beyond comprehension for us. They are tapped into a level that we will never understand because we forget. We are programmed to forget. Okay? Now, that's why I love the youth of an infant, the baby, because it's like I'm not only nurturing and raising this baby is nurturing and raising me to understand levels and dimensions that are off of this realm, more than we can even fathom. Anyway, back to this. When I started seeing my son like turn down meat, like just really turn down meat, and then all of a sudden I got these I don't know how I even started. I think it was on my Instagram feed. I was seeing all these vegan activists, and I was just like, okay. Plus I had all this extra baby weight, and I wanted to become healthy. I wanted to become fit. I wanted to become mind, body, soul in alignment. I created a chakra diet. To align into your chakras, and I started at the base and I worked my way up, and I learned these foods, and I learned these ways to unlock your chakras, to align yourself by eating. And everybody looked at me as if I was weird. Everybody, oh, this is junk. Oh, this food isn't good. Oh, but then they started seeing the progress, right? And then from the dieting change, it became a spiritual journey off of what I'm eating, because you are what you eat. We thrive on food. Why do you think God says fast? This is already 21 minutes in, but it's a deep message. I'm going to start sharing more about dieting and how to, because I know I have a lot of people that are, oh, you love the twin flame journey, love the, tarot community, spiritual community, but what are you actively doing to gain higher levels onto that journey? I want to be here to teach you that. I don't just want to pull energy and read cards and tell you how he's feeling, how she's feeling, what he's up to, what she's up to. I want you guys to actually find the health within yourself, to be able to have youth in your later years, have health in your later years. I'm healthier now than I have ever been in my life. Well, yeah, honestly, yeah. I am healthier now than I have ever been in my life. Now, some areas may need a little tweaking. I stopped going to the gym because I had to focus on creating this other income source, but there's balance, right? And I think that's what this message is. It's Spirit wanted to awaken myself to say, hey, remember where you started. Remember that you've created this diet plan, this health benefits, all of these things. You've created them. You've already mastered them. You know the ins and outs. You've did your research. So now it's time for me to also share, but to hopefully inspire some of you guys to really take in and take notice of what you are intaking. What are you putting into your body? Are you eating a lot of meats? Meat is dead energy. The meat that you get, if you're not out there hunting it for yourself or from a local farmer, I can guarantee 90% of the time that animal died in fear. And they didn't use all of it. They used it as a disposal and left the other stuff for scraps. That is not the way God intended us to treat animals that we hunt for. People in Africa literally sit around, a whole community of people will sit, and not just Africa, all these foreign tribes. Even here, people still do that. When you go fishing, you get your catch, you bring it back to your fire, your bonfire, whatever you have to cook it, and you skin the fish and you share it with everybody in your community. That's what we do here. My son's father was a big hunter. Whenever he would go out and hunt, and I would always, I don't want to get too deep into it, but I always said it's a sacrifice. Treat it as such. Don't treat it as something disposable where you just need to go and hunt for your own benefit. No, do it and know that that's the food that you're going to bring to feed your family and to feed the community. And use all of it. It's a sacrifice. And I understand, like, I understand the sacrifice part of it. I understand the cleanliness part of it. I know how to prepare the meat. I would cook the meat. I'm okay with that if it's done in a just way. But there is a lot of wrongdoing going on with these animals and what we eat and how we choose. And it's just this conscious shift that we have to make, where it's like, do I need to put this death inside of me just because it tastes good, right? Just because it's something that I've been raised on and I've grown up on it. Now, is it something that is going to sustain me? 1 cup of quinoa has more protein than a chunk of meat. A cup of nut milk has more calcium than a cup of cow's milk. But everybody thinks that it's not, right? But then you wonder why we have such obesity going on, right? Then we wonder why your skin is breaking out, and you got all these digestional issues, and why we're getting clogged arteries at the age of 60 years old. Because where we are as a collective, especially in the United States, what we put in our body is to dumb us down and kill us in the long run. Cause inflammation. All of it. And I've done my research on this already, but I get it. It's easy to go to the store and get caught up in snacks and get caught up in other things. It's easy, because I admit I'm in that too. But this message here is really having spirit, not only for you, but for me. This is a dual thing here. When I share, I'm also learning. This is spirit speaking through me, through personal testimony and through messages. And also I'm being awoken to know. Because back then, about 6 years ago, when I first started this journey, I grabbed a trash can. And yes, wasting food is not something that I like to do either. But when I know that food is only there to dumb me down and kill me, I grabbed a trash can and I cleared out every single thing in my cupboards. Anything that was unhealthy. And I'm honestly about to do that again. We are what we eat. You want to see longevity, mind, body, and soul? Focus on the little things that you do right now in this moment. What are you putting into your body? I highly suggest that you guys do a fast. I fasted all day long. I had a piece of fruit in the morning. I fasted on water all day long, and I'll have my dinner tonight, and it will be a plant-based meal. There is something with clarity when you fast and when you pray and when you really take conscious steps into really preparing your meal. When I fast and I go to make my meal at dinner time, there is so much conscious energy that is being put into creating that dish that is going to be fed into me. It's almost like a ritual. I prepare my food. I get my food ready. I thank God for the meal that I'm about to have. And then I feast on that meal. And I let that meal sustain me. Guys, this is the message. It is a little all over the place, but I've gotten the download. I know the message. I hope you guys do. Take what you can from this. Am I saying go vegan? If it's on your heart to do that, pray upon it. Ask God for the guidance. And if it is, more power to you. But in the Bible, not that I want to get the Bible involved, but God bared fruit from trees for us to pick. It was when we went and fasted and feasted on all the heavy meats and the fancy wines and the milks and all of that. That's when we got lazy, right? You don't want to go out and tend to your garden when you are overly stuffed and weighed down by heavy dead energy. It's just not something you want to do. And the silence. Guys, I love you. Take this with love and light, because I'm not trying to change or sway anybody. I mean, if I can in a positive way, then please allow me to. But what I'm really just trying to do is just share the message that I was received today. I got the download. I know the steps that I need to be taking in order to live and feel fulfilled. I do need to be just doing some inventory on what I've been putting into my body, and I hope that this message helps you. Maybe you should really start looking into, you know, the things that you're feeding your children and the things that your children are eating and the things that you're eating. And, you know, I even make my dog food from, you know, scratch. I don't, you know, I give her dog food when I'm lazy, you know, and that's just something that's me. Okay, no more doing that, you know. So I think it's time where, you know, Spirit, God, and your angels, everybody up in the higher realms are just saying we really need to focus on what we're eating. All right, guys, I love you. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.